Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. So, today I want us to go over a little bit over the shift that occurred for all of us in WESAK um, last Sunday. And I think it would be a disservice to you, to me, to everyone else, if we didn't go over the huge, incredible blessings that happened that day. And for me, as a preparation for this, I had spent months meditating, connecting, trying to find the theme for the WESAK for this year. But not only that, but also trying to connect to the what spiritual being wanted to be channeled, putting the program together, all of the things, talking to all of you who are participating, who are musicians, who are performers, who are participants, in general, trying to figure out a way to put the program together tight. Not only that, but also channeling, the introductory channelings, all of these other stuff. So all of that needed to happen. So in the process of doing this, I spent a lot of time in prayer and meditation and asking for forgiveness so that we will be worthy recipient of whatever dispensation may be coming through from Spirit, from God during that time. And to me, the biggest part was a few days before WESAK is that I always do the Ho'oponopono, not only from my connection that I need to create as a container to help WESAK happen, but also for all of you who are participating, that everything happened in the most graceful and blessed way. And it takes, I suppose, a tremendous amount of energy, but at the time, I've been doing this for so long, since 2008, I don't even think about it. I just know that's part of the process. But what happens is that as I go through this, it eventually occurs that the day after WESAK always feels the same. Like I have been stretched and expanded, like I've become very thin over a vast geographic area. And I feel a state of weakness, like I exercise, super exercise, and I feel like I need to stay quiet and recuperate, which is what I felt the Monday following WESAK. But it was different this time. It wasn't just the sheer sense of vulnerability that I usually feel, but I felt energetically what was coming in, as if I was a balloon that was inflated and everything was deflating. But whatever was coming back to me felt, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it was benevolence and kindness. I felt like every cell in my body had been power washed and cleansed and made new. And things were falling back in that were extremely beneficial for me. And it was, even though I was in a state of apparent weakness, but it felt like there was a deep healing that was happening. Like things were flying in from a deep and profound place. And I am deeply touched by this blessing. I know I spoke to other people who were at WESAK who felt the same way. And I napped multiple times since then. Even this afternoon, I took a nap. You know, I call these power naps. It's all of a sudden, I feel this sense of weakness and I feel that I have to put my head down and lay down. And all of a sudden, it's just like this incredible sense of energetic blessing penetrating my field. And when I wake up, I feel refreshed. I'm new, and I have the energy to move on, to move forward. And I want to go over some of the things that actually happened as a reminder, not only for myself, but also for you who are participating in the WESAK. Of course, the introductory comments, the welcome, etc. But some of the channeling and connections were so deep and so profound that they brought so much blessing. I can begin by talking about the Archangel Gabriel channeling that Chernis did, which was so profound and brought two things to my mind, brought a lot of things, but two most very specific things to my mind. When we're worrying about the financial market and what's going on in the banking system, I remember Archangel Gabriel saying something to the effect, if you're worried about the bank, talk to the bank. Ask the bank. That never occurred to me. That the bank is an actual entity. That if you can talk to the bank, the institution that you're in, you will know what you're supposed to do. And that was a big piece of blessing that didn't occur to me. And the other piece is that he asked us to visualize a lotus flower in an open hand and to put whatever our concern is in that lotus flower and to let that energy be transformed in its highest form. And that was extremely, when I did this during the channeling, it was extremely beneficial for me. So I'm very grateful for those two pieces. And when she channeled Mother Mary, it was very powerful as well, and it was connecting to this chalice. And I'm very grateful for that information as well that came through. My channeling, I did two channeling. One was with the Galactic Region Council, and Lord Melchior came through and brought a lot of information, not so much about predictions, but the shift in consciousness that we need to have in order for us to transition with grace. And it was extremely potent and extremely powerful. And then Lord Melchizedek came in at the very end to initiate us. He's done this a few times before. I don't remember if it was 4 years or 5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. He did this where he initiated us into something. And I was not completely prepared, because typically speaking, before we WESAK, or for that matter, before I channel any being, I can't, if somebody comes to me of the spur of the moment, ask me to channel whomever, I'm not doing it. Because in order for me to serve you better, I need to spend at least a week saying the Ho'oponopono to the celestial being on your behalf and on my behalf, to make sure that the path and the verticality exists, so that when I step into the channeling, it becomes an easy flow. So I did this for a week with both the Galactic Region Council and Lord Melchizedek. And I typically get a glimpse of some topics, some ideas flash through. And I know more or less I have a sense which direction they're gonna go. I don't have detail. It's usually one or two things that flash through. And what I thought he was gonna talk about was involved in the conversation, in the initiation, but it was not the way I thought it was going to happen. I saw the celestial axis, but I didn't know how it was involved. And right before WESAK, when we were in a break between channeling, he communicated with me when it's not going to be a channeling, it's a journey. You, Pierre, is going to guide everyone, and I'm going to be with you on a journey into the golden temple of Melchizedek. So, which is what we did. I didn't know the detail. I just knew that this was what it was going to be. And as I began to speak, he took over. And the whole thing was him guiding me, but from his perspective, as he grabs us in a Merkaba that was like Ezekiel chariot, powered by four cherubim, and he took us into the central sun, where upon entering, we saw the celestial axis, and through the celestial axis, that central column of light and fire around which the entire universe rotates, he steps out and blessed each one of us and marked us and marked each one of our forehead and every cell in our body with the tau, which is the T symbol in Greek, or what is called sometimes the cross of Saint Anthony. And as he marked us, we were changed. Then he asked us to go around the perimeter of that central room. There were these crystal beds, and he asked us to go lay on this crystal bed. And as we lay there, the crystal's bed kind of like magnetically came together and created a different Merkaba. And they were emerald green colors. And they took us back to our Earth location. I can tell you now, now that I'm talking about it, I'm unpacking this, I realize the reason I need to nap so often is because the crystal bed is still in my apartment. And as I'm napping, I'm receiving healing from the crystal bed. I understand, it clicked as I was saying this, what actually happened. So I'm grateful that I'm going over these details, because you know, I haven't really unpacked it. I have not done any private session this week except for a class I taught this morning, because I still feel that I am being put back together. I'm being repaired, right? And now I'm understanding something a little bit deeper, that the crystal bed is still here, and the emerald bed, and as I'm laying down, I'm on the emerald bed, and whatever mark that he put in me and all of us that were participating at a cellular level, it has changed us. Well, I know it has changed me in a very deep, deep, deep and profound way. Because that mark allows for safe passage. It allows us, there was a reference on Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4, about a mark that a scribe puts while God is sending for executioner to slaughter the children of Israel and Judea for having sinned and done all this depraved thing. And everyone who has the mark will not be touched. So I feel that we are very blessed to have been marked by this, and I'm in deep gratitude. I'm in deep gratitude. The passage from the Bible does not say what mark should be made, but from other sources we know that this mark is the Saint Anthony, the Tau. It's the cross of Saint Anthony, or the T cross, if you want. And I'm still unpacking all of the details. I feel a sense of alignment and connection and verticality that I haven't felt, I don't know how long. All of the doubts, the insecurities, and the stuff that came since the beginning of the pandemic, since early 2020, have vanished. And I feel much more aligned and at peace. Any questions or any comments for those of you who were there on WESAK? Anything I missed that, you know, because that was my experience. I don't know about your experience. Maybe there was something else that I missed during the event that you want to remind me of.
think Georgie's discussion of Lakshmi had some interesting information too about inviting Lakshmi into our homes and what environment she likes. I was a little bit confused because I thought she's barefooted, so that whole business about not having dirt or dust or clippings on the floor, I didn't think would apply to a non-physical being, even if they're barefoot. But anyway, those are one of the circumstances that he described, as well as roses and pearls, white and pink colors I have in my notes anyway. And that was interesting, I thought.
Yes, and he also talked about the northeast corner.
Yes, that's right.
This is always been, this is where my altar is. This is where the Holy Grail is. The chair that I have upstairs at Guyaville is in the northeast corner. That's where all the connections are made. And all the pictures of all the ascended masters are around the windows of that corner. And there is something to be said about this. It really works. In your home, if you can sanctify that area and create a small altar, even if it is a place where you burn incense and light candles and put flowers, if you don't have a Buddha statue or Kuan Yin or any other ascended master statues, you could choose to select to make that place holy for you, and put and do your prayer around that area. And you will find the alignment is much easier. This is the typical Buddhist kind of feng shui stuff that he brought in. And he said a couple of other things as well about how Lakshmi actually works that I found very useful, that she's the goddess of abundance, but it's not just money. Money is one aspect out of 1,008. Because she brings in knowledge, she brings wisdom, she brings joy, she brings peace, she brings health, she brings all kinds of things. And we are limiting it because we are living in the physical world to money and money alone. And that Lakshmi has a lot more that she can help us with. And then he also said that when we're talking to Lakshmi, talk to her like you're talking to your mother. And stop whining and asking for the same thing over and over again every day. Ask her for something and wait for it to manifest. With certainty and confidence, and wait for it to manifest. I thought that was very powerful as well.
Right.
Anybody else? Any other comments and questions?
Well, I know my whole body was changed really in this reset. It's just so profound. And for 2 or 3 days, I was just like, every time I closed my eyes, I could feel my body, my tissues and everything just going through my system. And even when I was lying down in bed at night, I could see the sparklings, like the sky. I don't know what it was, but it was just amazing. But I'm just so blessed and so grateful that I have I have the confidence now to just to be who I am, who I was meant to be, and I'm so grateful, Pierre, for you and for everybody. And Janice, I love your singing and everything. And it was just amazing, WESAK. I really feel blessed and changed. And I'm still unpacking, really. Even today, when you had this morning, I saw these green bags, green and blue bags. They were empty, but they were there for me to put stuff in
Mhm.
at the end of meditation this morning.
Mhm.
So I'm just grateful. And I just, Esther and I were unpacking some stuff. Yes, you wanted to go into anything afterwards?
Well, you finished.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm done. Go ahead.
Oh, well, it was a beautiful, beautiful event. And everything was just, I mean, all of the messages were really inspirational, informative, and very, very highly, highly spiritual in terms of consciousness. Um, at some point it got, the energy for me was just at this incredible level until I I wasn't really listening with my ears, if that makes sense. I was, it seems like you're listening with your being, if that make any sense.
Mhm.
And it wasn't so much, like when you did the last one about Melchizedek. I mean, that energy just was so high. It was like I just had to sit, close my eyes, and just feel the frequencies and vibrations more so than trying to understand and hear every word, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, you know, and afterwards, I was, I really felt it wasn't exhausted, but I needed to rest. I just needed to rest. And I had a good night's sleep. And, the frequency, it lasted, it still is going actually.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, and I mean, it took me back when we did do the, installation into the Melchizedek order. And it was, and that was very profound too to me. But the energy level here was very, very high. The frequency was just off the chart. And it was just a wonderful event.
Mhm.
Now I have one question.
Mhm.
In terms of the one about the Georgie and the northeast corner, is that in terms of your individual space where you put that?
In the individual, say that again?
Okay, like you take your individual space and then you locate the northeast corner in that individual space.
Correct.
And oh, okay,
And that's where
okay.
you set up your altar.
Is
Oh,
is
okay.
it the whole, let's say, house or apartment, or just one room, the northeast corner of one room?
Um, it's the northeast corner. You could, okay, if you have a whole house, you could do the northeast corner of the whole house. Like Guyville, for example, where the chair and the ascended master pictures are, that's the northeast corner.
Yes.
Okay, so that to me is the place where the connection happened. I have shrine, I have other places where I have statues and everything else. I can light candles there, but at that corner, that's where when I sit in there, there is a huge ease and flow, and I can feel the connection to spirit, right? Or it could be if you're living with roommates or you have other people in your apartment, it could be, and there are too many traffic, you can't do it. The northeast corner of your home on one floor is occupied by other things. You may set it up in your bedroom.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You could,
So the space you choose within your home should be the northeast corner.
if you're doing the bagua or the feng shui the right way, it should be the northeast corner of the home or the apartment that you live in. Now, as you were saying, if sometime in the northeast corner, you may have a bathroom. keep the door closed, keep the lid on the toilet closed. Because that will draw negative energy, it will be a negative vortex, right? But in general, that area should be an area where you set up your altar. The problem with also is that my northeast corner is where I work. That's where my computer is. And so on that very corner past the computer, I put my statues. It's not a big thing, but I put enough stuff there to, and this is where I connect. When I'm doing my prayers, my mantras, in my meditation, that's where I connect. Sometimes you're in a situation where you cannot feng shui the whole apartment or the whole house because something else is there. Then if there is a different floor or a different location, then you find the northwest corner of that other space or that other room where you can set up the altar. You see what I'm saying?
Okay. Okay. Now say that about the bathroom again and the door.
If there is a bathroom in the northeast corner, you don't set up, you keep the door to the bathroom always closed, and you cover the lid of the toilet always when you're.
Oh,
And in the bathroom, you should not be putting a statue of a deity or of a holy person. That should go out.
Pierre, when you are doing, if you are doing your meditation in a particular space every day, do you feel, I mean, well, I feel that I feel more comfortable and more at ease when I'm trying to say anything that I'm doing, whether it's the Hono prayer or it's the meditation, all of that. I find it easier if I sit pretty much in the same spot as much as I can.
Yes.
And
However, it depends on what you're doing. For example, for me, I teach in a chair in a specific location. When I'm doing my prayers and I'm receiving and I'm trying to connect, I have to go sit somewhere else.
okay.
I can't do the two things because one is I'm giving, the other one is I'm receiving.
Right. Well, mostly I'm receiving here, so.
Yes.
Well,
And doing it at the same time of the day, around the same time of the day, actually help as well, because it creates, the repetition creates a habit, and the habit creates a doorway through which spirit can come.
okay.
Okay? And you will find great ease. Like the reason I like to go to the waterfront to the specific bench is that I've been doing this for years. I know my energetic imprint is etched on that bench. I come in, I sit down, I take off my shoes, and I go immediately. So keeping that in mind and doing that is very helpful for me. So it doesn't have to be just indoor. It could be special trees, special, a location. A garden, somewhere you go where every time you go there, you do the same thing. Like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. There are certain places when you go, you connect. And if you repeat it over and over again, it becomes a doorway, a gate, that every time you go there, you can connect to. And prayer and meditation can happen in multiple ways. Sometimes it's not exactly always a meditation or a recording from me that you put on your ear and you listen to so that you can get to a connection. Sometimes it's contemplation. In fact, most of my insight come during contemplation, which is that it's a walking meditation. A lot of time when I go to the park, I sit at the bench, and after my meditation, I am in a kind of reverie. I'm watching people, but I'm not really watching people. Something else is simultaneously happening internally for me. And as that
Right.
happens, a lot of insight drops in. So the contemplation is as powerful as the meditation or the prayer. And the contemplation can happen as I'm walking back or I'm going to my meditation spot. And as I'm walking, I am such a contemplation basis. I'm already getting myself into the state of receptivity and connectiveness that I need, and alignment. And as this happens, a lot of insight come in.
Mhm.
You could be cooking, you could be doing something else, and the information is still going to come in.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have to say this and acknowledge this, and I told you this privately, Bobby. You sound like you haven't sounded in years.
I feel I'm in that space. I haven't been in a year.
I cannot even begin to tell you. It's like Bobby is back. That's the best way I can put it. Okay.
I really do feel more, I just feel about life, everything. I'm like, you know, everything is just falling into place.
Yep.
And I feel like, you know, all of this, I'm going back over a lot of territory and I'm asking for forgiveness and everything like that. But I feel like at the same time, I'm beginning to feel like, oh God, this is where I belong. And this is spiritually, emotionally, all of these things. This is great.
Yep.
Oh, thank you for confirmation of that.
No, it was just like night and day. It's like there was a, whereas before there was how's the best way to put it? There was hesitancy, there was a kind of like unsureness. Now it's
Yes.
you're back, you're yourself, you're back, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jubilation. Yeah.
Is that Margie?
Yes, yes.
Of course.
Oh.
Yeah. Jubilation.
I can say amen to that, Pierre, because Bobby used to ask me permission to do everything, and I said, "Look, I'm not your parent, and I'm not raising you." You know, like, no. It's your choice. What do you wish to do?
Esther, she's in the right place with you.
And now she gets so bold. I say, "Who are you?" I say, "Who are you?"
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm very grateful for all of that, and I can see the transformation in them for all of you. And I am at peace. I'm getting more and more at peace because today again another piece came in for me where, as I said, I had to take a nap because I was like, okay, something else is coming in, and right now it's not fine. And again, I didn't connect until I went over this. The emerald stone bed are still with us. When we take the nap, we go on that bed and we get healed. This is this is a huge blessing because each one of us came home, that was at WESAK, came home with that bed. It's a huge blessing. Huge.
Here, I do want to say something about that bed because when you said it, I claimed that bed. And when you was back, I said, I've already got that. I'll have that bed already.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Again, I was on the waterfront today. I spoke with my friends, the people that I see there all the time and all that. We were having spiritual conversation. This one lady, Janet, she lives down the street from me. And we were talking, she's reading my channeling and talking about this, that, or the other. We're talking about New Zealand, traveling and all that. And all of a sudden I begin to feel, I said, Janet, I gotta go. I can feel that it's time for me. The bed is calling me. I gotta go. And I came back here, did a little bit of whatever I needed to do in the apartment, and then I took a nap. Not long, it's just 45 minutes, enough for me to feel that whatever was needed to go in went in. And whatever is going in, I feel great, like healing and benevolence, deep healing and deep benevolence going in.
Yes. That's the way that I was feeling when I was getting up at 11 o'clock in the morning for 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
And I got up like on maybe Wednesday or Thursday, and I felt like it's a brand new me. If something happened and I don't know, but it's a brand new me. And the thing that I was praying the most for was to have my joy back, because I felt like along the way I had lost my joy. And I wanted that joy back so bad in my heart. And I feel like I achieved that. You understand? I'm not in that limbo anymore, like I was in a limbo,
And particularly, you had multiple situations, not only with your tenant upstairs, but also the mourning and the passing of mom and all of that. There was a lot of things going on. Yes. What I'm saying right now to all of you, you were all at WESAK. That bed is in your home. Use it wisely. You can go and take the nap and ask, like Marjorie was saying, for things that are very specific. And the repair will come in. I want you to know that that bed is connected to what is called the Emerald Cloister of Melchizedek, which is very specific to the Melchizedek that exists in our universe. So think wisely about what it is that you desire, what you want, and how, what kind of healing that you need. And simply think about the experience and that bed, and go take a nap and let the healing come to you. Make a request to Melchizedek and the spirit, and let the healing come to you to repair you. Any other questions or comments before I move on?
I was not going to mention anything about my personal blessings, I guess you would say, from the WESAK, amongst the many that we all shared and had. But I will just want to say thank you, Pierre, for the challenge you presented to me to dare to step out and sing again. And truly, the impact of that has been a major shift that I feel is opening up a future of exploration in this direction. So having come from a place of feeling that that part of my life was over, like amputated from my being. I now feel like it's joined back to me. And as I mentioned to you in a brief text, I think, had an experience of Lord Melchizedek and Mother Mary in my meditation the next morning. And I was back in that temple. And during this time, he anointed me with a ministry of music.
Mm.
I was amazed that I should be given such an honor, but it really was just evidence again to me that a shift has taken place. So I want to thank you for that.
Janice, I don't know what to say because I'm floored, okay? Nobody deserves this better than you. That's the first thing. Because I miss your contribution and your offerings. I miss them tremendously. And given everything that was going on in your life for the past few years, I didn't ask you, and I told you this because I knew the kind of things that you were going through emotionally. And I asked you this time because Spirit asked me to ask you.
Oh, interesting. Well, we talked about the armchair.
Yes.
And I said, well, maybe I ought to try that. And you said, well, how about trying it for WESAK?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, everything is easy.
Janice?
Go ahead, Janice. Kid, I'm in the class right now. Okay. Okay, bye-bye. And yes, so
Yeah.
Yes, Marjorie, I'm sorry, you were saying.
Yes, Janice, I just want to say one thing to you. This gift that you have, you were born with that. You were born to sing. You were born to uplift people through your singing.
That is
Whatever
always,
I'm sorry?
I was just going to say that is always my wish, my prayer, my goal setting before I do. And so I'm deeply touched.
Yes, I don't know. I mean, you've been going through a lot of other things in life that's probably make you feel like you're disconnected to that gift. But the gift was always there, maybe suppressed by certain perception that you have, but the gift is always there with you. Whatever that Lord Melchizedek and Mother Mary in your meditation did, they just ignite it again for you. But this is something, this is your essence. This is something that you have, no matter how much that, whatever the perception, whatever it is that's going into your head and make you feel a certain way, you should have this silent in you and move forward, because it's you, it's your essence.
Thank you very, very much, Marjorie. It feels like what you say is true. It is part of me as much as my physical body is part of me.
Exactly.
Yes, thank you for that.
Exactly. and I remember when you were singing the Ave Maria, and I could have feel in my bones that you were getting a major healing
Well,
by you singing that song. I mean, this is anyway. Every time you sing Ave Maria, it's your channeling Mother Mary. So you
mm,
know, you're channeling her. So I have to say thank you to you. Thank you.
oh my goodness.
Thank you.
It
I'm
was
in great.
arena of all of you that permitted with your loving connection and high spiritual vibrational frequency energies that I think brought out the best of what I could do.
Thank you, Janice.
All right, thank you.
I'm reminded about something that Activity that brought in this morning. 2 weeks before we sat, as it related to this conversation we're having now, 2 weeks before we sat, I had during the summit channel a prayer spontaneously, which is a prayer of alignment to the central sun.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I want to read a couple of paragraphs in there, not the beginning of the meditation, but let us continue to rise higher and higher, passing through the clouds, reaching for the sun. Let it go into outer space, passing the moon, planet Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and let it float away from the solar system and the Milky Way galaxy and move into the universal core and enter the central sun and the very heart of God. Let the peace, the serenity, and the unconditional love of Mother, Father God envelope and immerse your entire being. We call upon God, the God force, Christ, and the Holy Spirit, and we ask for complete penetration and saturation of the God force into every cell of your body to reignite the spark of the original covenant with God. Listen carefully. To reignite the spark of the original covenant with God. Let all doubts, all fears, all insecurities of all of lower bodies and 3D experiences be drenched, illuminated with this brilliance. Let the peace and the certainty of the divine be with you. Let the spark of certainty of God light move back toward our galaxy and our solar system, planet Earth, and let it now drop into the top of your head. Let this light continue to shine as it cascades through your body, bringing benevolence, blessings, flow, and alignment to celestial purpose, the divine will, and righteousness. May your will be done.
Amen.
And may we become perfect agents, perfect vessel, perfect mirrors for the reflection of this ease, this benevolence, this kindness, and the unceasing love. May the peace, the serenity, the alignment, the liberation that I know pass on to everyone and everything in my circle of influence. Let the rain of blessings fall. Hosanna into the highest, Hosanna into the highest, Hosanna into the highest. Take a very deep and slow breath, and whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes. It was short, but that was a precursor in opening a doorway to lead us into the Golden Temple. That was the bridge.
Mhm.
That was the bridge. And I think I email all of you the prayers. You should be connecting back to it because the energy is so powerful, particularly the reignition or to reignite the spark of the original covenant with God. That line rocks my world every time I hear it.
Mhm.
Now, as far as Lakshmi is concerned, for me, the gifts that I'm getting from this is a gift of a deeper understanding in how the universe really works. And the way I grew up Catholic, where resources, vow of poverty was noble, only the meek will enter the kingdom of heaven. If you're poor and you're destitute, this is the only way you can reach God. And this is basically on the one hand, but on the other hand, they're telling you that God is abundant. But the verbiage penetrated deep in my soul. And I have to undo all of this because it's not correct. This is not the way the universe works. I am projecting a filter and a lens that is completely toxic to create abundant living for me. And a few things that I got wrong. I remember Georgie in my conversation with him. This is going back about 3 months or 3 months ago. 3 months ago, we were talking privately, and we were talking about flow abundance. And then somebody said something else. There were 3 of us in the conversation, and then he said, "That's correct. It's all goes against the initiation and the connection I have to Lakshmi." When my client, he said to me, and that part exploded in my head. He said, when my client come to me as a feng shui client and they ask me to help them sell a hotel for 21 million euro, he said, it's not their money. The money belongs to Lakshmi. And since Lakshmi is in me, it belongs to me. And I'm facilitating the sale of something that belongs to me. If they want to buy a new home for 12 million, they have all these choices they present to me. Which one is the best one? It's not just them, it belongs to them, and I'm outside of it. I am part of that flow and that abundance. I'm not disconnected to it. That exploded in my head. I never saw it this way. Because the way I grew up in church, you're poor and you're disconnected to it. I remember saying to you in one other class months ago that when I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he was saying something to that effect. I read that book multiple times. I never completely understood it until that conversation 3 months ago. Then I realized what he was talking about. That the people who are wealthy or connected to abundance and flow in that level, they are not disconnected. They are not connected to poverty consciousness the way I seem to be embedded with it and I seem to be marinated in it. Instead, they are marinating and connected to abundance in a reverse manner, where they don't see themselves ever in anything that they do. They don't ever see themselves being poor or not having. It doesn't exist for them. And that's the kind of mentality we need to exist in, because this is where Lakshmi is gifting everyone, all of her children. What's happening? We have filters. We have all these undeservedness and this lens and this filter, and we're not accepting her. We're not accepting the flow that she's trying to throw toward us. And one of the way I'm not accepting, and I will admit this to myself, with my client, I never know how to price myself, because I always feel that if I charge too much, people will not be able to afford, they can't come and and so on and so forth. And therefore I should charge. And I've changed my prices so many times because I'm always insecure that I'm doing something wrong. And I'm always trying to work out something to try to include everything. And I'm a very generous person. I would include anyone anyway. But the point I'm saying here is that what I didn't get, Lakshmi is using my client as a way to bring abundance to me. And if I say to Lakshmi, that person cannot afford it, I am saying that the way Lakshmi is going to give this client money, I am putting that in doubt. I don't believe that Lakshmi can actually bless them with enough money to pay me. It's a completely different way of looking at how flow occurs. That when I charge my clients, whatever it is that I'm charging them, it's not only a fair value, but because I'm looking at myself and what I do and what I'm capable of holding, the kind of space I can hold, and I'm looking at other people that are supposed to be in par with me. They cannot deliver half of what I can deliver. And this is not ego. This is simple observation. They are charging double, triple of what I'm charging, and I can't find a way to be comfortable to charge what I would consider to be living wages for me so that I can take care of my bill. I don't want to be, I shouldn't say I don't want to be, since I'm being abundant. I'm going to let Lakshmi decide what I deserve. Okay? I'm going to let Lakshmi decide what I deserve. But I would love to live comfortably. And so I'm in the process of changing a lot of that stuff on the website. Mercury is going out retrograde today, and tomorrow I'm going to start working on this so that I can send a different message toward Lakshmi and tell her I'm ready to really receive. I'm not going to use a filter of poverty, of projecting my own poverty. Although you're trying to give to me, I'm using a filter of poverty and saying, no, I don't need, I don't deserve. And I'm blocking the blessings that are coming toward me. And I'm going to go even further. The same way Lakshmi can allow a blessing to come in through you, through somebody else. Because no one on the planet owns money or owns anything. Everything comes from the same place, which is the cornucopia or the horn of plenty or the womb of Lakshmi. Everything comes from there, right? It all comes from there. No one owns it. We're nothing more than temporary custodian for these blessings, whether it is joy, whether it is love, and the way energy flows, it enters and it must exit. So the same way gifts are coming toward me, it needs to exit in some way. So when I go to seek a service or some other kind of thing with someone else, if I am so afraid of losing money that I'm trying to pinch penny and try to negotiate them down, I'm not saying that I'm going to let anybody take advantage of me financially. But if I keep negotiating down and keep pinching penny and keep squeezing, and so, I am blocking the way Lakshmi wants to use me as a channel to exit the flow and to allow the flow to go to someone else, to give to someone else. Moreover, if you can take the analogy of a pipe, right? If at one end of the pipe, water is flowing through it, the pipe is closed and barely trickling, less water will flow through it. But if the fountain is completely open and everything is released, more water will flow in. Because why are we doing this? Because we're afraid we're not going to have. But Lakshmi, that source, that cornucopia, is endless giving. It's infinity times infinity. It will not stop. And this is the blessing that someone who is in that flow and that abundant consciousness exists in. they know they will always have, and that they will have an abundance. So it's a complete rearrangement of my thinking. And maybe this is why I'm feeling so weak and I feel all of these benefits are coming inside of me. I told you, I feel like every cell in my body has been power washed. There's a lot of things that are leaving. And I'm seeing all of this in a different light. Because there is no reason for the amount of information, knowledge, and understanding that I have for me to have any kind of, I should be living extremely comfortably well. Because there are people who don't have, who have barely 1/3 of what I know that are doing extremely well. So it's the kind of story that I've inherited to my family lineage and to the way I grew up, and how toxic and incorrect that information was to the way the universe actually flows and the way the universe actually works. We were created, to all of us, everyone on the planet, because there's enough resources for all of us to be abundant and to live extremely well. And if Lakshmi gives you a blessing, let's say millions and millions upon millions, or billion for that matter, since Lakshmi is giving and it's endless, if he's giving you a billion, it's an opportunity for you to give, to create charities, to distribute it, because you become now an agent, to allow flow to move through you, to become a philanthropist. So there is a lot of examination of all of these things that I am benefiting from holding this WESAK, from conversation with Georgie, who's been initiated in the inner mysteries of Lakshmi, has received some profound training from his Buddhist background as a Buddhist priest, that has initiated a whole cascading change. And it's funny because for years now, every time I say something that's restrictive in terms of my finances, he's always correcting me. He said, no, that's not what we said. This is wrong, Pierre. No. And he's right. He's absolutely right. It is my hope that you as well got benefited from this as well, because I know that kind of toxic poverty consciousness thing is not limited to me. I know that many of you were also domesticated in Christian environment where that also was true. And it is my hope that having this conversation now and bringing this to the forefront will allow you to go on that emerald bed and receive the healing and the repair and the rewiring, so that cellularly you're not holding these toxic belief systems, and you can surrender and then let them go. Any questions or comments? It is in our benefit that we align ourselves with the way the universe actually works, because if you're holding these kind of old toxic beliefs, it doesn't matter what kind of job you have, whether you have a job where you have a 9 to 5 where you're receiving a very specific salary. if you're still holding that kind of mentality, you will never be able to be abundant. The people who are able to be, to seem to have the Midas touch, they have that mentality where they don't see one person, the employer, or they're having all the resources, and then they're just, it's the trickle down kind of thing. Who holds the key to all abundance? Lakshmi. Any questions, any comments?
Well, I want to say that, WESAK really helped me this week because, my mother-in-law, she lived to be 104.5 years old.
Mm.
And on Friday, they had her graveside services because she was cremated on Staten Island. And that was my kid's grandmother and her son, my ex, came to the East Coast, was in town and all of that. But I was really proud of myself in terms of the way I was just able to balance all of that and, and remain just that calm, and it just didn't matter what happened. I was just able to just flow with it.
Mm. Mm.
And I think I did it better than I've ever remember doing it before, just flowing with it.
Mm.
And it came out okay,
Yes, yes. Because
And he left today, so going back to the West Coast, so.
and people are in our lives for a reason. And whatever karma and lesson you need to learn, you learned it. And then, good luck on your journey. You have kids together, we can be civil and be okay. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
And more importantly, his mother living that long is an incredible blessing, not only for you, because this is a woman that you knew, but more to the point for your children. It's their grandmother.
Yeah.
And we should be grown and adult enough to be able to separate the past from what's happening currently. Congratulations.
Yep. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, congratulations to this. Any other questions or comments? Anyway, I'm still processing what's happening with me with Lakshmi and my connection to that energy. And I realized that a lot of time what I'm asking for is the crisis that's in front of me, but not the big picture. Like, I need to have this thing to pay this bill and blah, blah, blah. Instead of asking, I need to fulfill my spiritual purpose. Give me the resources so that I can really fulfill the reason why I came to Earth. And this was the conclusion for me today, that I'm not asking big enough. I'm asking for very succinct little things, whereas I should be asking for a broad scope so that I can fulfill my purpose, my actual dharma. The resources, the connection, and it's not just resources in terms of money, but it's also the people connection, the contact, the proper people that can put you in the right place, and so that visibility can be created. All of the things that are connected to an establishment in the community so that the information that I have can be distributed correctly. I'm learning. I'm learning. Any questions, any comments that you may have? All right, let us take a 5-minute break, and after which we'll do a closing meditation. 5 minutes. Take a very deep and slow breath. And as you inhale and exhale deeply and slowly, allow the universal life force that permeates everything to enter into your lungs. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your soul and your awareness drop in the middle of your chest. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. Please forgive me. I love you, and I let go. Let your mind and your heart sync with each other. It is like your eyes and perception of the world emanated from your heart space. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And see the world through your heart. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And notice what you noticed. Become aware of any sensations, perceptions, expansion, release, and knowing that this is creating for you. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And notice what you noticed. Listen. Listen as if the more than 50 trillion cells in your body had ears. what information, knowing, blessings, grace, that this is creating for you. In the center of your heart space is a brilliant point of light, pulsating, vibrating, undeniable luminescence, brilliance, and radiance. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let your entire being become acclimated to this light as it continues to expand and grow, doubling in size. Let it continue to expand with every breath that you're taking. This radiant light bringing with it all the gifts of the heavens. It is the point in which the prana seed of God take roots in you. It is your connection to immortality and to celestial presence. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. As this light continues to bring kindness, beauty, joy, abundant living to all parts of your body that is being touched by this radiance. Let it continue to expand to envelop your entire chest cavity, and let this abundant flow continue to grow, taking the shape of a lotus flower, a luminescent lotus flower. Let it continue to expand and grow. Let it continue to grow to envelop your entire body with a gigantic luminescent lotus flower all around you. It is the heart and the core of Lakshmi, the source of all abundant flow, abundant living, of health, wealth, love, light, knowledge, wisdom, and peace. Let this flower continue to expand and grow, expanding beyond your home and your earth location, creating an immense vessel or receptacle or bowl Keep breathing deeply and slowly. And let this grow organically and naturally into a size and dimension that seems appropriate for you. Keep breathing deeply and slowly. We call for Goddess Lakshmi from the very heart of the uncreated. And we ask her to fill this vessel with abundant flow and living. Let the horn of plenty fill my vessel with the light, the love, the peace, the money, the serenity, the abundance, and the flow that I need to fulfill my purpose on earth. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Manaha. Om Shri Manalahashmi Mahana. Om Shri Mahalashmi Namaha. Om Shri Mahalashmi Namaha. Om Shri Manalahashmi Namaha. Om Shri Mahalanashmi Manaha. Take a very deep and slow breath. And whenever you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Pierre. I went on a journey for sure.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I want to thank you all for listening to me tonight, and thank you for participating in this work and for being with me as companion on the way on this incredible journey. Um, I want to also thank everyone in the Patreon that's watching us. Thank you for your support. If you are watching us on YouTube, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you next week. Thank you. Blessings to all of you. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night. I love you.
Love you all. Thank you. Bye.